Guys, this is the Slinger, and this is a Warframe grind video. Alright, we're at Persto Survival. This is Oberon, and I am shield gating level almost 500. After Whispers in the Wall, I'm starting to think that certain things are not going to change in this game that I thought might have, because they threatened Condemn a while back with shield gating. And Condemn still works great. In fact, with the changes that recently happened, catalyzing shields isn't always your best choice. So it's something to think about. That's what I'll do my video about tonight, is catalyzing shields, yay or nay. And why. Sometimes it's better to have a little bit more shields, because the difference with the new shards, it's not really a big difference, you know, between 500 and 75 or 90. Because a rolling guard, Condemn, and the topaz shards, you can totally shield gate without catalyzing shields. And it works fine. Probably works better. So, if you're not familiar, Condemn is Aharo's ability, Helmeth ability. It gives you overshields by locking up the enemies in chains. And the overshields, as you can see, stack up pretty fast. Now that the topaz shards are fixed, they don't mess with your overshields. So you can have like full out overshields, which give you just a little bit of smoosh time in between casts and rolls, where you don't necessarily get totally hammered and killed.
Well done, lads, well done! I dare say the murmur is quaking in its ambulators. Oh, what with the hiding our friend has dispensed it. Slap!
Yes, I've been playing in there a bit. Alright guys, what I got going on with this Oberon right now is ability on radiation status, 10%, ability on radiation status, ability on radiation status, and then these two are regain shields through blast damage. What I'm using here is a Taxon with the R-Tax with a
Saddle up.
Killer Riven for this. So be hard to copy, but basically you want to use your companion to do blast damage, right? For me, speed, it's still not super fast, but I've got it as fast as possible. And then I'm also using Shivering Contagion to slow them down. So when I go and I hit the air supports, air charges, support charges, what happens is my Taxon will slow down those guys while I'm hitting that air on a solo, and maybe apply a little bit of blast damage or blast status. The Taxon is very chonky. I never see it go down. So if you want to use a Taxon, I think it's like a lower level companion that I know it hasn't been out like super long compared to some of them, but it's very chonky. It's got some really good stats for like shields without me even really putting shields. It's got 250 on there. And then I do have enhanced vitality to bring up the health. Momentous bond, killing an Eximus. That helps regen. Prime regen if you can. If you can't, just use regen. Molecular conversion. Blast enemies within 10 meters, converting 200 damage towards your shields. So that actually does help for shield damage, for shield gating. Okay? And that's the only one that I could find that I really felt did help for shield gating. There's like shield charger does also help for shield gating, but there's another one that I thought had some potential, but then when I looked it up on the wiki, it only works for the actual companion. So shield charger, guardian, molecular conversion, those all help for shield gating. Okay, assault mode, because you want him firing as far away as soon as possible, right? Synth deconstruct, so you can pick up energy orbs. Manifold bond, so that your companion's precept mods will take from its gun and put it, basically through. So whatever you build the gun out to be, manifold helps bring it to the enemy, right? And that's why I have Shivering Contagion and Prime Shred, making it fast, and then I have Blast on here and Cold, right? So, the Artex, this is important, okay? The Veriglass says it does freeze, right? But in testing, the Artex did better in slowing down and freezing the enemies than the Veriglass with the Taxon. Now, I don't know if they're supposed to be, but if you read the Veriglass, it says it emits a freeze ray. But when you don't put cold on the Veriglass with Shivering Contagion, it doesn't seem to work as good. I don't know why that is. Theoretically, I would think it would be the same as the Artex, even better, because it has way better stats, but it didn't work. So, there you go. Or as good without making an actual, like, corrosive with cold. Then it works. But since I'm using blast shards, I need to have some blast coming out all the time, which isn't like 100% necessity. And let's go over the build. The Torrid you've seen before in my other videos, that's blast and corrosive. We won't touch on that too much. The Okacore or Ocucore, honestly, let me look at that. I never even looked at it. This was just a test run, and it happened to go to 500. Okay, I'm probably going to switch out the Ocucore for my next run. I'll probably use my Shield Gate version. Let's see. Furus. There we go. And then the Shield Gate is just Augur Pact, Augur Secrets, and then whatever you need to put on it. I need to put Blast, Radiation, and Corrosive. Remember, the radiation damage is important because I have the Topaz Shards doing more radiation damage, right? So, and Oberon is basically a radiation type Warframe. His first power smite, which is subsumable, is radiation based, and then Reckoning is radiation based as well, which is his number 4. Reckoning, for some reason I feel like smite just does more damage, but it doesn't say that here. So yeah, it seems like I get a lot more out of smite and then shooting them. But Condemn is Haro's power. That's what I'm using for my Shield Gate. So I've got Blind Rage on here all the way up. Arcane Aegis. Brief Respite, I'm going to actually get rid of right now because this is a Condemn build, and I'm going to switch that to Corrosive Projection for more stripping with my Torrid. Although that worked pretty good. Maybe I'll leave this on and I'll test later, but Fast Deflection, Rolling Guard, those were key. I know this is an Umbral build. Equilibrium, good way to go. I never really ran out of energy too much in here, so the primed flow is kind of a good way to go. It depends on prime sure-footed. A lot of people aren't going to have that. It's totally understandable. I would just use sure-footed or even leave that empty. That might help. I don't see any Archon type mods that'll help out with this build, like Archon Flow, Killed by Cold. I'm not sure if the Artex would trigger that, and at that high a level probably wouldn't do much, so I'm not sure. I'd have to test that out. It might be something to look into, but it is more expensive, so I could barely fit it though. Let's see, Archon Flow, 185 energy. Yeah, well, I get more energy out of it, so I'll put that on there, but remember I had Prime Flow on there. The Intensify can't do it because I'm doing an Umbral set here, so yeah. I'm not using Vitality, so there's no point because I'm using the Umbral set. And it's Heat. Yep. If this was Saren, the Toxin abilities works great, but it's not Saren, so there you go. Alright, so I fixed that. I'm going to switch out the status stick, actually, right now, because I need something better. So I need an incarnate weapon. I'm probably going to go with the hate that I used last time. I like the way when you charge it, it can throw projectiles, and it's fairly fast for the hate. So I'm going to actually probably go with that for my next time I go out. Equip. And I do have this set up for like a health and energy type, because the hate is so powerful that you've got flex spots, right? At least I feel like it. So you've got in this build right now, you've got electricity, radiation, and gas with melee influence. You're just killing it, right? Up until probably around level 2000 is when it starts to bog down a lot. Now Oberon himself with his gun, around 500 slows down. Okay, so you could go for more power strength, but honestly, this would really make a big difference in the actual play. And the reason I'm using Lasting Sting for the status duration, to get more status duration, it's that obvious. Healing return for the 10 health per. It really, these two do not matter because Oberon has a power that gives him his health back as long as you remember to put it on. I actually forgot at a point, probably twice tonight, to put his number 3 on, which is Renewal. Oberon's really set up to be, he's not a DPS type Warframe, but he's a good survival Warframe if you shield gate him. So no catalyzing shields. Catalyzing shields, like I said, it's a choice. Instead of Brief Respite, because I am using Condemn, I could use Corrosive Projection. I'm going to leave it at Brief Respite right now. Because, because I don't have a shard. I don't have a Emerald Shard on here to get the strip down, and I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any actual, yeah, because of the way I have Oberon, he does not have an armor reduction. Let's see. Armor reduction. No, he does. Reckoning has, it says it has 138%. So that's more than enough, if that is correct. You never know. So, yeah. So this is basically the new way I think that a lot of shield gating is going to go. Catalyzing shields just takes up a mod spot. It's going to get in the way. People are going to use topaz shards just to bring it up a little bit. And Condemn is still a strong way to go. And in fact, what I'll do right now, best way to shield gate. Move this over here. Best subsume for shield gating. Simply put, Condemn is now the best ability. I mean, this is old for shield gating that you can use. All right, so there's that. But this is probably old, but the thing is, they just didn't nerf Condemn. Condemn is still very viable. It works great. I know this video is a little bit longer than I usually do, but guys, get out there and grind. I will.